Welcome to SF Commercial Property Conversations with Bruce Bean, where Bay Area investments meet expert insights. Get ready to unlock the strategies of commercial real estate success.
So today we have Tyler Dirksen with us, and Tyler is a fellow MIT grad, and Tyler also was raised in the Bay Area. So Tyler, it's great to have you. I just want to know how you got into real estate and into sustainable building. That's just a very interesting journey that I feel is coming on for us to hear.
Bruce, thanks for having me. First off, my name's Tyson, not Tyler, but no big
Oh,
deal. I'm young. I'm youngest of six, so I've been called everything. So you don't want to know some of my nicknames.
thank you very much. Okay.
So yeah, I got into real estate around 15 with my parents, painting units, small construction projects, managing apartments, sitting on negotiations. That was super fun and really hands-on. And then went to Brown, and after I got out of Brown, I in 2003 went out on my own as an agent, investor, doing value add deals, fixes and flips, literally doing some of the construction myself, and learn the hidden upside, to see the hidden upside, and connect it directly to execution and returns. And then I really wanted to get an institutional view of real estate. So in 2007, I went back to school, went to MIT's Center of Real Estate, and got a master's in real estate development and finance. It was great, except for that I graduated in 2008, right into the crash. So there was lots of blood on the street, and while MIT gave me institutional lens, I had to pull back and really look at where I was at, where the market was at, and I decided to double down on how buildings actually perform. So was doing construction project management after MIT for luxury homes in Los Altos Hills and Los Altos. And in parallel, took a ton of building science, high performance courses. I specifically really enjoyed the courses at PG&E's Pacific Energy Center. They had great building enclosure courses, HVAC, controls, electrification, lighting, commissioning. I mean, commissioning is so important. Then I started after working for a while as construction manager and really being a self-taught engineer. I and use that construction time to get my own contractor's license, start a construction company that focused on uh, performance envelopes and mechanical systems, what it was were originally called. Then we morphed it into Evolved Building, and it was focused on high performance luxury homes in Los Altos Hills, and a couple in Marin, but usually tech titans, that type of home. Um, Kept investing through that time period. Again, still doing fix and flips, condos, single family homes, small multifamily buildings in the city. And then I got then I really wanted to get a little bigger. So as the market recovered, I moved into mixed use, small, it's still small, but San Francisco's very costly. So while I say small, it might have been retail and three or four residential units, but we'd turn those into super luxury units. So we're selling those at $2,000 a square foot types of projects. And got very familiar with the entitlements, which are not easy in San Francisco.
Oh, sure.
No. And then obviously the infill of, urban infill, and just repositioning in dense San Francisco. Not that it's as dense as some cities out there, but it's still fairly dense. And I, in parallel, also worked for a large value add real estate fund as a broker. So got to see how they utilize institutional capital, and that really sparked me to start thinking about doing larger projects that had larger impacts.
Mm.
And that, so today I frame projects the way serious fund or family office will underwrite and invest in. So we're looking at like bigger projects. As I One of the two that we're really focusing on now is a regenerative eco resort community in Central America, and the other one is a mass timber transit oriented mid-rise project in Boise. As we like to say, it's a life in a building because it's mixed use, and they can enjoy the day from breakfast to dinner and co-working space and all that. Both of them are in due diligence, but again, focused. We have institutional investors on those, so that's great.
So that's the picture you have behind us. Tell us a little bit more about that project. How many units are there, and what's the makeup of the build?
Yeah, so it's about 80 units over some commercial and retail, and it's two towers with a three-story platform, mass timber, so reduces the amount of time for construction. Obviously, a little bit more costly for the construction material, but regenerative embodied energy in the wood, in regenerative carbon, as they call it. And you're going to leave it unfinished inside, so fewer materials, easier to renovate later. As we like to say, these are 100-year-old buildings. So most developers, really build from the inside out. They start at the finishes. We started the building enclosure, mechanical systems, the air sealing, the waterproofing, and then we focus on the interiors because we really want it to be durable, healthy, comfortable, and a long-lasting operating project that investors want to keep and not even sell if they don't want to, because it just lasts and it's a great investment long term, or if they want to sell short term.
So tell us about the top screen above the top floor there. That looks very interesting to me. It's open air, it looks like.
Yeah, so that's our rooftop gardens and roof deck. It's great for entertaining and enjoying the sun and the views. You can see there's a pergola above it or a solar array that provides um, shelter from rain and snow, but it also helps power the building. So again, we're focusing on sustainability on that project, and also really focus on sustainability on our eco resort down in Central America.
So how many units will you have in your eco resort?
That's a massive project. So that's 5,500 acres
Whoa.
and 9 kilometers of beachfront.
Whoa.
And it's a long project, phased in numerous phases. But should it come to fruition to the end, if I see it out, probably will take 30, 40, 50 years. So I may not even be alive anymore. But it will have a couple different resorts, boutique hotels, luxury residences, condos, beach clubs, 18-hole golf course. It will also have what we like to say, it's a regenerative eco resort. So one of the core focuses is it's right in the middle of a major ecotourism and nature-based travel boom. I don't know if you're aware of that, but there's
Right.
so much eco travel right now. So we're going beyond net zero. We like to say soil to structure and forest to frame, which are things that we kind of came up with, similar to farm to table. But soil structure, we literally mean using the on-site soil to create rammed earth walls and elements. So those are great in Central America's. The high thermal mass tempers the heat gain, uh, and reduces materials we have to get from off-site. And then forest to frame is about responsible foresting, feeding into mass timber. So we're using the forests that we're clearing on site because it is a tropical forest there on the water, and we're using that to mill and turn into glulam beams that will be the probably way we're designing it. The east side will have rammed earth walls, and then the north, south, and west sides will be a lot of glass and glulam beams, so you can have that indoor outdoor. But we'll still have the what we're Vol is known for, the air sealing. So because we there, while we believe in indoor outdoor living, especially in a beautiful temperate climate like Central America, there is a need to use air conditioning sometimes. So close it up, have it airtight, and efficiently run some air conditioning. We'll also have solar and wind on site. So the project's net zero. And one of the things I'm really proud of is that we're planning to build out a small village for the workers since it's going to be such a big project. So they don't have to travel, have a small hospital, small school. So again, it's a really big project and will be phased over a long time, but definitely a legacy project for me. And
Definitely.
I found it because I love surfing. So I've been down there on and off for 20 years and just came across it and fell in love with it.
So I'm curious, your sawmill for your gaining your lumber, would that be gas powered or electric?
Electric powered, since we'll have a turbine, wind turbine, and we'll also have on top of the factory and top of the houses solar. So we're trying to run everything off of solar, wind, and batteries.
Yeah,
We will be
self-sustaining.
connected, but it's pretty spotty because we're in Nicaragua as the project. So
How's the
we think sorry.
how's the entitlement process in Nicaragua?
It's not it's a little bit cloudy.
Yeah.
It's not super, like a lot of Central American countries, it's not straightforward and it's a little cloudy, but it's definitely simpler than San Francisco. You can develop in San Francisco, you can develop anywhere. So we have a good team and some great locals who are helping us get that designed. And I'll be moving down there and spending a lot of time down there as the project gets started. And yeah, because we're just finishing up design development on that.
So I'm curious, coming back to San Francisco, how are you liking the new mayor?
Yeah, I don't really want to talk too much politics here, but there's good things and bad things
Yeah.
about the new mayor. I do like that the city in general and the state is pushing for housing, especially TOD housing, transportation-oriented development housing. I'm a big believer in that the housing shortage, especially in San Francisco, is created by the developers being de-incentivized to
Right.
develop, and just how expensive it is to permit and title. Uh, just so many hurdles to do to actually get a project out of the ground. And then additionally, I think that there's a housing shortage in San Francisco also because of the rent control. And I know this is a little political, but I believe rent control should be eventually abolished because I believe that if the market runs by itself, people will move. They won't be in their rent control handcuffs where they don't want to move. Also, I know a ton of buildings that are basically empty because the owners no longer want to rent. So I have
Mm.
two stories on that, actually very interesting stories. One of them was next to, I won't say where, but next to a place that I lived in. It was owned by a family who used to own actually the father was a dentist, right, saved a ton of money, frugal, Asian family, and bought four large buildings in San Francisco and had a really big problem with one of his tenants or several of his tenants in one of his buildings, sold off all three of the other ones, kept one. And as the tenants moved, never rented them again, just kept his family
Wow.
in there. And even so much so that the grandson moved in. And then the grandson was kind of like, hey, can my buddy move in? And they said, no, we don't want anybody else to move into the building because
Oh,
we can't
wow.
control it. We can't no longer control it once we get a tenant in here. So he
Right.
moved to move and paid so he can live with that person rather than rent for free.
Oh my God.
Uh, the
Wow.
other interesting story I have is down this street in a northern neighborhood from another place I lived. There was this older man who was about in his 80s. I don't know, I can't remember his exact age at the time he was going through it. He wanted to get rid of, it was two small houses on one property. He was given some bad legal advice, but he wanted to get out his front building's tenant so he can move his daughter in so she could help, he could age in place.
Right.
Ended up where he had to Ellis Act her and cost him $500,000 to get her out. I think that he paid something like 300 or 400,000 to her and
Mm,
another $100,000 in lawyer fees.
mm.
It took about 4 years, and if you Ellis Act it, you no longer can rent it afterwards. So he was just his daughter was able to use it, and those are two horror stories that you hear about all the time in San Francisco. But I do believe that an open market will incentivize builders to develop and also flatten out where you don't have the people who are super lucky to be in a rent controlled place and then the rest of the market goes up so much because there's fewer apartments out there to rent.
Right. Right. Yeah. No, it just drives up the price of the open market.
And I know some of your listeners are not going to be happy I said that, but that's my
Well,
opinion.
no, I understand completely, but and fortunately or unfortunately, I agree with you totally that, rent control unfortunately is great in some cases for the tenants, but it does not work well for the open market. So anyway, we can we can we can move on from that one. What's your crystal ball say for the future?
Ooh, you know, we try to build so we try to minimize the downside on our projects these days. I've seen what happened in '08 and learned a lot from that. So, I mean, rates are obviously not exactly great right now. So it's exactly why we phase projects, keep leverage sane, build multiple exits. The whole approach is about resilience and downside mitigation. So yeah, I mean, 2008 was for lack of better words, a masterclass in what not to do, right?
Yeah, no, disaster class. Uh,
That's a good
just,
one.
yeah, I'm just curious if you're leveraging it all in Central America.
We are not, but our returns are still super great in what we're projecting, and we're being very, very conservative. Again, why we're looking at this land that I happen to find, but because it has two of the nicest waves in Nicaragua right there. Some of the nicest waves. One of my buddies from LA, he's surfed all around the world. He says it's his favorite wave. So happen to find it. It's Nicaragua. While it's still becoming last year it was on New York Times top 50 places to visit.
Oh, wow.
Vogue said it was the new it spot, and it's the Costa Rica of 10, 15 years ago,
Yeah.
and there's proof of concept in the country, and then obviously Costa Rica's proof of concept of where it could be, and but there's really not enough product, and we believe in super sustainable projects, different types of projects on the property. So open air projects, super eco resort projects, and then super high end luxury projects. A lot of supers.
So I'm curious, how about your Idaho project? Are you going to leverage that one?
Yeah, I'll leverage that one,
Yeah. Yeah.
but be
That's
conservative. It will really depend on um, it'll depend on rates, where we bottom out when we go there, when we go to market to get our debt. But most of our investors are pretty or don't really want us to leverage too high. So that's great.
so I'm curious, going back to the beginning of the conversation, what is hidden upside?
Hidden upside. Well, well, there's a lot of hidden upsides, right? Like the hidden upside for the Nicaragua project is finding the project that was barely marketed, but I happened to find because I was surfing down there and I'm a real estate investor and developer.
Mm.
But really, I was talking when I said hidden upside before, that's because I had years of experience before I started investing on my own, and that was more in, seeing the market in 2011, 12, 13, 14, seeing where it could be, where it was, knowing the structure and mechanical systems and air leakage and waterproofing inside out. So looking at problems and being a contractor, being like, hey, that's easy to fix, cheap. Let's
Mm.
buy it. We'll buy it with no contingencies, not a problem. Uh, I was also a real estate broker, so just really I was able to look at a project from all angles.
Yeah, so
Uh,
you could see the hidden upside, things that other people would not see basically, and say, okay, we can make this work.
yeah, I mean, I think one of your other podcasts, one of the ladies was talking about how she was a broker, but then started working in construction management,
Hmm.
as well as being a broker because a lot of her clients needed help on that front. And I'm already a contractor. I'm a broker, investor, developer. I've been flipping houses since I was 15. It was easy to see the hidden upside and not necessarily hidden, but just upside that maybe not everybody saw, or one contractor see, but then he didn't see other problems that were maybe on the market side,
Right, right.
or upside on the market side.
Well,
So,
probably the flip side to the hidden upside is the hidden downside.
right. So I would walk on deals and other people would buy them, and I'd be like, ooh,
Yeah, I don't want to
yeah.
go there.
I
Yeah.
mean, I even have a client, a brokerage client of mine that was a friend, and there was some hidden downside that there was some soft story work in a building that was, they bought for 10 million bucks. And I told them, I said, don't buy this thing. And they bought it. Didn't have any earthquakes when, the time they owned it. So they were able to get out fine and made some money. But I brought an engineer through before and after we did a little work on it, because I had a lot of dry rot. So we did shore it up some, but ooh, I was very worried why, and kept pushing them not to buy it. And there was other things on the market.
You just had too
So
much.
that's the hidden downside that
Yeah,
that I
yeah,
saw.
yeah. I can understand. Well, I want to keep in touch. I want to know how this development in Central America is going.
Yeah, you'll have to come down. I'll comp you a room.
I want to see how the Idaho projects come through. So we'll have to talk in whatever 6 months or so and see how things are going. That would be
Sounds
great.
good.
We'll be in touch for sure in between. So
Yeah.
great to have you on. I
Oh,
look
thanks.
forward to
Thanks for having
talking to
me
you.
on, Bruce. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, where can people get a hold of you, Tyson?
Yeah, they can get a hold of Tyler at evolve-us.com. There's all our information on there. So jump on that website, phone number, emails, and then a bunch of blogs and how we build and what we develop. Or you can go to tysondirksen.com if you want.
Oh,
So,
you got both of them. Yeah,
yeah,
that's great. All right. Well, great to talk to you, and we'll be talking down the road here.
sounds good, Bruce. Have a great day.
That's a wrap on today's journey through the SF commercial real estate scene. Ready to share your story? Visit sfcommercialconversations.com/guest. Your insights could lead the next conversation.